Into the ropes and off. A flying tackle by and a drop kick.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Got to hold this just a minute. You want a little bit more?
I'm a real heavyweight champion.
Gotta be the best of me. He's more to me than anything I've ever done in wrestling.
They call this the 10 pounds of gold championship. As existed in its current progress.
That canvas pretty hard, and look at Buddy go to work now. Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Welcome to another episode of TEW 2020, Billy Corgan's NWA. We had a pretty good pay-per-view. It was fine. I think it was like 51, I want to say, 51. So not too bad, about in line with what our actual TV show has been doing. And our next pay-per-view will not be until September 2nd on NWA Starrcade. So we got about a month and a half or so. Actually, only about a month and a week or something like that, until the next pay-per-view. We're kind of running it roughly every 2 months. We might even be able to do once a month at this point, especially with our financials. But that may change because we have to get a new deal with our broadcasters. So we're going to do that first thing today. Let's quickly go over the main things that had happened in our pay-per-view. Obviously some big title changes and some not. Founders Champion is still vacant. We are going to be probably doling out the tokens. If you have not watched from the previous prior to 2020, we have a Founders Championship, has the Founders Clause. It's basically like our Money in the Bank. There's 5 tokens that are spread out, and when you have when you have a token, you want a token. If you lose a match by pinfall, that token will transfer over, and when all 5 are collected together, it becomes a contract, and when you have that contract, you get a shot at any title pretty much at any time you want. You basically can cash it in and get a title shot or even get included into a match. So it's kind of Money in the Bank, kind of mixed with Gift to the Gods from Lucha Underground. So it's kind of a neat one. It's a long-term one, and it's one that we probably should have had at least one token floating around, but we did not, just simply due to time constraints with the tournament that we were running. But we'll start to dole those out and watch as they coalesce into a secret competitor for the title. Tag team is still the Von Erichs. Obviously, they had their dad there to cheat a little bit, which shocked them, and we'll kind of have to play up whether they're going to be turning heel or not, or what's going on with them. Tessa Blanchard is our women's champion, and Big Miro, the Slav himself, in fact, became the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Brodie Lee was a good transitional champion for us. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I don't know. He probably gets a title shot again, but I think we need to do something else with him. We need to move him down the card a little bit. I just don't think he is a main eventer for us, because we have other plans, and I think we could do other things with him as we kind of develop the roster. And what the Danhausen became the Shoney's NWA North American Champion. Rest in peace, Shoney's. Scott Steiner, Shoney's. It's only been 4 years, but unfortunately closed down to COVID. I hear Scott Steiner's running a bar. He wants to run a sports bar now. Probably going to be called Big Papa's Pump House. And but his Shoney's restaurant is closed. But Danhausen does not like Shoney's, so who knows what's going to happen with the North American Championship now that Danhausen has the title. He doesn't even work here. Neither him or Warhorse actually got a contract, so they are not actual employees of the NWA. They just kind of are lingering around. We'll have to deal with that at some point, I suppose. But what we do have to deal with right now is our broadcasters. So let's go ahead and let's go into that. Right now we got Fight TV for our pay-per-views. It's tiny, but honestly, it might work fine for us. We might just renew it. I think we're getting rid of our TV show. So this does a lot for us in terms of just broad eyes, but it's all very tiny. We're not getting a lot of money from it, and we're definitely not getting a lot of eyes for it. So I think it's time to bow out of this contract. So let's see what we can get here. I think I'm already set to it. So for the US, we had a couple options. Looking at these previously, I think the best decision will in fact be MAV TV. It's a channel in America that kind of does like, I guess, like sports related stuff. They have a medium risk factor, which is nice. So they're not too like this. IWTV would let us do anything, but they're tiny, and I'm pretty sure if we look at the ratings here, broadcaster type, we want broadcaster size. Okay, so here we go. So tiny to enormous are the size differences. So we were in a tiny broadcast, which was only getting like 10,000 people, right? Very small is the next step up, would be almost 5 times the amount. So really, it's very much worth us going into a higher branch or higher, like not pay scale, but higher division of classification of broadcasting. So, and obviously, you know, we have other issues with what we're going to get, but the raw figures say that going from tiny to very small is going to be good for us. So while this is great that they have very high risk, as YouTube, I believe we're getting tiny everywhere, just not worth it. Also, they're a low risk company, so there's less that we could get away with than if we went on MAV TV. They're a little they're pro wrestling, so they don't care too much about it. And they are willing to maybe deal with some more risque elements. If we wanted to do a ladder match, for example, they're going to let us do a ladder match on TV. Whereas YouTube will say no. They'll say a ladder is too dangerous to broadcast for some reason. I love that. They can have Logan Paul, you know, showing dead bodies or whatever, but you know, maybe not MAV TV, or maybe YouTube doesn't want to see a ladder on a staged fight. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure we're jumping up from tiny to very small. I don't think it's the opposite. I would imagine not. So this is definitely going to be an upgrade. It's only covering US, so we should probably also look at some international broadcasters to fill in the gap, because it ain't gonna hurt. What is our size in US is, you know, getting there. We're actually surprisingly big in Canada because of that, and you know, we have some notoriety elsewhere, so we want to kind of keep those because we want to, if we can, broadcast as broadly as we can. We won't get as much money, but every little bit will help. And we can have multiple broadcasters as long as there's not overlap in coverage, which there will not be. So let's go ahead and let's get the MAV. We want a new deal for NWA Power. We can go ahead and let's just say 6 months. Unlimited. They're not going to give us late evening. They would give us late night. Which is a little much. Early evening. So early evening is probably where we're going to go. We would have 2 other wrestling shows in our time slot, unfortunately. And we want to see how high we can get this revenue split. So, not 40, not 35. It looks like it's going to be probably 30. If we did none, oh, okay, they don't pay us for that. So I was like, maybe we could just get a flat fee. I'm not willing to do $25,000 per show. We would make no money at all. And obviously, the lower you go, the worse the thing gets. I wonder if we were set afternoon, would we get anything? No, they would not. In fact, they would still charge us. So we're going to be getting about 30. It's less than the 55% that we would be getting from our YouTube contract. I think our evening spot is exactly the same. They won't give us late evening. They won't give us late night. Or they would give us late night, but they would actually charge quite a bit. I actually think the early evening is a better slot for us, especially considering the minimum quality expectation. So this is not bad. Let's do 3 months. Will they let us do a 3-month contract? The shorter the contract, the better for us for the most part, because as we move up, I think we're going to move up in popularity faster than MAV TV will benefit us. So I would like to be at a very short-term deal. I don't think if you are wondering, I've been willing to offer longer deals. It's going to benefit us more to be in a shorter deal. Please note that this is not complete the deal. It would not begin immediately because it clashes existing deal. Only when they have completed would your new deal begin. That's fine. Deal has been agreed upon. Sign it. So we have them. Not yet to start. Let's go ahead and let's look at our Canada coverage. See if there's anybody. Okay. So we need people that only deal with Canada. This is Makeful. I've never heard of them. They're tiny. The size really doesn't matter. We're just looking to get as much as we can. TLN might not be bad. They're very small in Ontario. Medium risk. See what we can get from them. New deal for Power. When will you? Early evening. They would also be willing to run it. And again, be about, looks like 30%. I'm fine with that. Doesn't really matter. We'll run that for 3 months again. They have a little bit higher expectation and quality. That may be a problem for us, but we will see. We're just going to have to be a little bit better, a little bit smarter in how we book. British Isles. Again, we want something that will run. Is there anything that's very small? Sports Channel. Running Chikara and NJPW. Very low risk. So that's going to be a problem because we're not going to be able to run a show on there. We want to kind of keep up with the medium risk for the most part. Against wrestling, neutral wrestling. So we're actually going to go with this lower one just because we want no conflict in our broadcasters, because the more broadcasters we stick on there, the more they're going to be complaining about nonsense. Because they're going to be like, oh, well, you need to... Oh, you won't even do... Oh, that's late evening. Okay. Early evening, same time. Are happy with these terms. Will you give us a little bit more? Ooh, you will. How much you willing to give, buddy? Holy crap. Really? It was 100%? Hey, Free Sports. What's your business model if you're going to give 100% of our revenue? How long can we be in this contract? I'll stick with you. If you're giving me 100%, sure. Why not, dude? Looking for Japan. Not going to be able to do much in Japan, unfortunately. Europe. And again, going to be a situation where we're looking for ones that are not in... like, we might do YouTube Europe or Twitch Europe. I think there might be some conflict there with England. Yeah. So we might end up having to do, like, action That's fine. We're going international. It's whatever. Okay. Early evening. Okay. How about late night? How about graveyard? What do you give me for graveyard? Oh boy. I mean, at this point, anything that you give me will be A-okay. Okay, so 20%? 20% on a graveyard for 9 months, sure. Just going to be in Western Europe. I don't even know what we're going to get out of that, but that's fine. And then we want anything in pivot share in the Australia region. Okay. As much as I can without paying anything is kind of my plan here. On demand, that's the only thing they offer. Is there like an on-demand service? That's fine. Again, not really, just trying to get as many eyes out, as much revenue. India. Nothing. Okay. So, did Mexico. We didn't do Mexico, did we? Will not work for us. Okay, so we have no Mexican coverage. That's unfortunate. Not the end of the world. We got a lot of coverage for our TV shows. And for our pay-per-view, let's see. Anywhere, style, we want. Will any terrestrial pay-per-view do us? No. How about cable pay-per-view? No. So we're probably going to end up being stuck with internet pay-per-view, which Fight TV again. Not a huge deal. Extended deal. We were early evenings. Can we get... Okay, so 50% split. Can I get anywhere else here? Prime time. Late evening, late night. I don't want late night. Early evening's going to be where it is. That's fine. We'll do like 6 months here. I don't think we're going to be expanding well enough to get a better pay-per-view deal right now. So we'll just extend this and that'll be fine. All right. All of that is out of the way. I wish we could get out of the YouTube contract now because I'd be kind of curious to see what the changes are in terms of viewership. Would be kind of interesting. Someone also, before we get started, wanted to take a look at WWE. There's a thought that there might have been some major departures. So let's go ahead and let's check. I think we had to go into our diary. No. Where we want this? We want other shows. I thought it was diary, but I guess not. Company Wars? I don't think so. That's interesting, but not what we're looking for. News. Let's see if there was any major departures that might be interesting to scoop up. Story workers leaving. Nothing. Worker extensions. Agreed to an extension. Agreed to extension. So there was definitely some extensions granted, but not any real let goes. No firings, at least. I don't think NXT has its own. We could take a look. No. Okay. So nothing to really worry about there in terms of people to hire. We do know that big old Jinder Mahal, who apparently isn't showing up there. Who are we looking at? Oh, we got some kind of setting on here. That's why. We know he is up for grabs, but he is almost certainly going back to WWE. They're offering a 2-year contract exclusive for $60,000 a month, 20% bonus, and a signing bonus of $44,000. Like, I could try to throw something out there. I could be like, listen, I mean, you know, what could I give him that would be interesting? I'll give you 70% of your merchandise sales, your travel costs will be covered, and I'll give you creative control. Like, what would he take? He's not going to take $2,000 a show if he's making $55,000 a month or $60,000 a month from them. Yeah, like, he's not going to take anything. Like, what would it have to be? Like, give you $5,000 a show? But he's still like wouldn't even do that. Like, I mean, there's nothing that I could give him. I can't give him $50,000 a month. So Jinder's gone. That's a crazy amount of money for him, considering he's only at 42 popularity. I guess, you know, WWE cannot hinder Jinder. They really want him. I mean, he's hugely popular in India. Maybe that's their big crux there that they're looking for. I don't know. Very odd. But I would have liked to get him in here, but unfortunately we're not going to. We do have a couple add-on contracts where Natty Neidhart somehow got let go. We'll bring her in. Kira Hogan was a scout from, I believe, a Discord chat. We were talking, and someone was saying that it might be a good get, and then we're looking for a extra road agent, and Finley looking really strong. We tried Tim Storm as a road agent, did not go well. Tim Storm, obviously our new Alliance champion as well. Had not mentioned that previously. He has a little bit of time left. Where is he on our roster? He doesn't have a lot of time left. I figured out where you could find it. I think if you talk to him, he's retiring in 29 days. So I could also talk to him out of retirement, but could and couldn't. I think it's fine. We have a good going away plan for him. So we got about a month of a Tim Storm championship run and the Alliance and his final hurrah. And we'll let that play out. And I have a feeling he'll be with our company in one way or the other. And I believe he's loyal to us. I'm pretty sure he's got a personality loyalty. Loyal. So, you know, he might end up sticking around in some capacity. And he might even be able to be convinced to come back out of retirement, or something like that, right? So it's always a possibility. But that's fine. Let's go ahead and let's get over to Power after we got all of that out of the way, and we'll run a quick show. All right, got some mail. Presuming some. Are you serious? You want to be paid more? Yeah, it's fine. Fine. Give you $70 more if you really want it. You're about to leave, and you're like, you know, this is the right time for a pay raise. And Jinder Mahal does go to WWE. Unfortunately, our $2,000 a show would not be enough for him. Nakamura looks like he has the U.S. Championship, but none of the titles in WWE matter, so who cares? still trying to film there. They really want us to go to Full Sail, even though I own this. What's Daly's place capacity? That's a lot more. Wow. We're looking at 432 fans. So definitely let us run our own studio. Still running in the Southeast. Still the best place to run it for us. Was there anything? There is a backstage incident. Ashley Vox helped create great atmosphere when she pulled on a great rib in the locker room that everyone had a laugh afterwards. Okay. We can medal, we can pull a rib. We still have a lot of the talent from the tournament still on roster. Now, let's see here. Let's see if we can get anything from anybody with our new hire, Sean Studd here. Well, it's not going to help because he's not going to be on the roster. Failing. Ugh. Well. Pretty much. Alright, sure, let's try it. No effect. The more relationships, the more friendships, the better for the most part. It's not always true, but in this case, we will take it if we can get it. And let's go ahead and start our first power after our pay-per-view. Alright guys, we are ready to run the show. This was packed, but not. We ran over to 65 minutes, but some of that has to do with two really long matches in the show, which kind of took up most of the time. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it and see where we're moving on after our big pay-per-view. So let's go ahead and take a look at Power. So we start off with Paul Pinky George III doing an announcement saying that the Second Shot tournament is here, that anyone that lost in the Crockett Cup gets a second shot in a new tournament, sort of a loser's bracket that will be going on, and the winner will get a contract. So we'll end up getting two tag teams from this total Crockett Cup tournament, and the Second Shot will start tonight, sort of, because since it's a 15-man tournament, there will be a singles competition in a battle royal tonight, where each team that of the remaining 15 that were in the original tournament get to pick a basically a member of their team to fight in the battle royal, and the last man standing gets the first bye. So that's kind of what's going on tonight. That ends up taking up a lot of the early part of the show because of battle royal, so kind of such a large part, like it takes like 10 minutes minimum, I think, or something like that. We only have 60 minutes, so it's kind of a problem. I expect it not to be rated very well because of the just sheer mix of people in it, but we'll see. This rating starts to show off with a 29. Not great, unfortunately. And the buy is hella better than I thought it was going to be. Holy crap. So 9 minutes and 52 seconds, basically one member of every one of the remaining tag teams. So AR Fox, Cash Wheeler, Christian Cross, Dave Dawson, Dave McCall, Phoenix, Frightmare, Josh Woods, Kevin Koo, Kadama, Levi Shapiro, Luke Gallows, and Mark Quinn, and Ricky Morton, and Warhorse. We couldn't even get them all on the screen. Basically one member of every tag team in it, and it's a pretty decent match, and ultimately Phoenix wins the Battle Royal in 9 minutes. The final four were Luke Gallows, Cash Wheeler, and AR Fox. Luke Gallows being the final elimination, and Cash Wheeler got the most eliminations over the course of the match. So the Lucha Bros get a bye. They go into the quarterfinals. The other 14 competitors have to fight in even matches to get into there. That kind of shockingly good score. I mean, there are some great talent in there, but there's some people that are underperformers, so I'm kind of shocked that we got as high as we did. Not bad. I'm not complaining, but kind of shocked, to be honest. Afterwards, we just announced that the Lucha Brothers do, in fact, get the bye into the tournament, and that does very well. Crowd's very happy with that, so not too bad. Not sure why only he's showing up on here. I must have screwed up something on here, but Brodie Lee is in the commentary booth being interviewed about his rematch, and Brian Pillman Jr. interrupts. I guess I have him set for off stage for some reason. Probably the scene would have got better, but oh well. And Pillman just is fuming, kind of furious about Brodie Lee's interview, getting a rematch clause, and Brodie kind of talking about his rematch. And Pillman goes, shot after shot after shot after shot. All I see is opportunities being passed by as some half-assed Federation reject gets to jump once again way front of the line. Brodie, you had your shot. You were on the top of the mountain, and you lost it. I say it's time for you to get back to the end of the line. You don't get special privilege here because some nerd backstage thought you were cool a decade ago. There are people on this roster who have been here before it was something and have clawed their way up for a shot, only to constantly be passed over through more bullshit like this. Obviously, Pillman talking about himself, talking about feeling like he's on a white-hot streak and he should be having an opportunity, and once again being overlooked for some rematch. And, there technically is no rematch clause in NWA, so I guess he's got kind of a point. At least we never really fully established it. Sort of an unwritten rule. Brodie growls at him and says, "I've not been given any opportunity, boy. I've worked my way up here just like you little pissant." And Pillman kind of smarks back and says, "I say you and me tonight. We go. None of this ladder bullshit. None of this pecking order. You put that rematch on the line, and we'll see who really is the better man." And Brodie scowls back and just says, "You want a lesson here learned? I'll teach it. I'm going to beat some humility into you." And Brodie grabs him by the collar and then shoves him backwards into the commentary booth. Gets a 51, not too bad. Got the angle crowd hotter. Brodie improvised well through the segment. And we have a main event tonight, Brodie Lee versus Pillman for, presumably, the title shot against Miro. Brodie willingly putting his title shot on the line. Speaking of Miro, he gets a exhibition match against Marty Scurll, who we bury in 6 minutes. Miro defeats Marty with a bullplex. Miro had a 73, Marty had a 37. They had great chemistry. Probably going to be getting rid of Marty soon, so this is sort of just a way to give Miro some dominance, not necessarily like a title opportunity, just an exhibition match, but just show that he's big, tough guy, and boost our ratings a little bit. And pretty good. Afterwards, we have a backstage segment where Danhausen's running around asking everybody for duct tape. No idea why, but he's looking for duct tape, and he finally finds some, but we do not find out why. Segment gets a 47, his entertainment score doing well for this, as he's just running around backstage like a maniac. Does not do as well as Danhausen's segment, but Tim Storm comes out and holds the Alliance title tall in his hands. He says, "A true champion is always on call, and he'll represent the Alliance every night he's here." And he issues an open challenge for the Alliance at all times. And as such, a debuting Mark Sherman comes out, a new hire for us, who we give an opportunity for a title shot. Why not? So obviously he's new, wants to get a shot here and make a name for himself. So he uses the opportunity to follow in with the open challenge. Unfortunately, his dude gimmick got a awful rating. No one likes it in NWA, apparently. They had great chemistry, and the color commentary gave the match a boost. Tim Storm, unfortunately, off his game. Both had a 33. Tim Storm obviously defeats Mark Sherman in 6 or 5 minutes with pinfall, giving the eye of the Storm. Segment's 30. It's not great. It's not bad either. And we give 1 win to Tim Storm on his retirement tour. And in our main event, goes pretty damn well. Pillman Jr. versus Brodie Lee. Pillman having a 53, Brodie Lee having a 69. Little bit of a suffered because I think I had to cut some time out and I didn't remove the slow build that I thought both of them would work well with. So it probably should have been like a 63 and we got hurt a little bit. But in a great wrestling match with good heat, Pillman does in fact defeat Brodie Lee in 13 minutes with a DDT. And afterwards, we hear a cackle and the cult appears surrounding Brodie Lee before the lights go out and all 4 of them disappear. Kind of a lights out for Brodie Lee for a bit, moving him from the story as the cult continues to abduct people, presumably grabbing them into the entire cult. Possibly going to be a problem if there's more and more cult members, seemingly going to be an issue as they overwhelm, if that is in fact what they are doing. But you know, Brodie, we're kind of done with, so we're going to give him a little bit of a cooler, give him some time, and maybe rebrand him. And this is sort of an opportunity to do that. We'll still keep him around, of course, but this is sort of a way to exit him out of the main event for a little bit as we rebrand him and kind of do something different with him. I got a little bit of a Dark Order Redux kind of thing I want to do, where I think... What I think was originally cool about the Dark Order kind of didn't happen anymore, and I'm going to kind of do it here with sort of a rebranding of Josephus's cult, and Brodie Lee's going to be involved, not as a leader, but as a sort of second in command, and we're going to do something interesting there. So that's going to be a more long-term thing, and that'll give Brodie Lee something to do more in the upper mid-card, where he's not going to be necessarily in the main event title scene. Gets a 41, not the strongest end of a show, but overall, I think actually we had some pretty solid matches and events on the show. I'm hoping we have like a 53, is kind of what I'm feeling like we're going to end up having. And I think at that point we would, in fact, move up in all of our territories. Let's go ahead and take a look. 57, actually much higher than I thought. That Brodie Lee match probably kicking the scale up. Increased in all 32 regions that we are filming in. Overall, that is a fantastic show for us. And we get a lot moving. We didn't have as much storylines being built here, but we do have some movement in a couple of them. And some interesting developments. And I think overall, not a bad show. All right. Probably got some contract negotiations. Which is good. And we got 1 month on everyone's contract. Should be fine. We should be able to blow through the tournament by then. Pillman is upset about Connor. Okay. And our viewer ratings, 0.04. Not too bad. Looking forward to our higher tier once we get into the new TV contract. Power had excellent. Show went down really, really well. And obviously, in terms of broadcast, we didn't do too bad either. Marty Bell power play. It's being said that Marty Bell is once again wheeling and dealing her way around NWA, forming political alliances that she hopes will work in her advantage. Oh boy. Something we're going to have to look at. Haven't seen anything of her doing that. We should maybe look at... does she have any... She is needy. So, I mean, we could always get rid of her, but I'm curious to see how this plays out. Let's check our backstage rating, because that will probably tell us if she's formed an alliance somewhere. We got some mild negative influences. Marty Bell's mild negative influence. Don't see anything about necessarily a relationship that she's built with anybody. Something to keep an eye out for. It might be an early warning sign. So we got a whole bunch on that last month contract. We might even renegotiate them if we need to. But, well, actually, we do need to renegotiate for Machete. It's going to be an ongoing contract. Only 70 per show. Jeez. Sure. And we need about 2. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay. We'll throw them in there because they are now permanent. The rest, we'll probably let them bleed out their contracts after they are done a match. So we might have to renew a couple people's contracts, but that won't be until the quarterfinals, just to give them an extra month to kind of let them work and play around. So that was it. Big, long episode. Thank you guys for sticking around with it. We did a lot early on that show, so I think that was important. I'll see you guys next time for another episode of Billy Corgan's NWA.